Coming up on this episode of The Power of Real Estate.
Hashtag sweet tea. That thing is just blowing up, and I'm like, it has nothing to do with my post, but I'm going to put it in just so people will see it.
Yeah, so that's how you make people mad.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
That's a great question.
Michelle, are you ready?
Shake it, Jimmy.
Oh, goodness. She spent over 20 years as a successful realtor and realtor coach, recipient of over 40 sales, leadership, and literary awards from the legendary Music Row in Nashville. This is The Power of Real Estate with Michelle Moore.
Hello, 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 and we've got a great show for you today. We're in the studio. I got producer Jimmy with me. Hi, Jimmy.
Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
I am doing good, except for my middle toe.
What did you do to your middle toe?
I did like you do.
You lost your middle toe?
I was going to say kind of. I wasn't as committed as you were. I broke it. It's black, it's purple, it's green.
I've had broken bones, and I've had things removed. A little bit different.
That's right.
How did you break your toe?
I was walking through the family room in the dark, and someone put the ottoman where it does not go. And I stepped right into it.
Blame it on the dog.
That's right. Flash Moore, bad dog. All right. So, everything going good?
Yeah, my toes are pretty good right now. No broken toes. I only have 9, but they're not broken.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, I want to talk with you today about Instagram. So I spoke recently at the Greater Nashville Annual Convention. And I taught on 2 hours of social media strategies in a digital world. We're going to do another show that's on Facebook because they are a little bit different. Some of the strategies and things and stuff that you do and don't do are a little different. But I want to talk today about Instagram. You ready?
Yeah.
You're not on Instagram.
I am, but I don't really get it because I guess I'm so used to Facebook now, and they're nowhere near the same.
Yeah, it's just completely different, and so that makes sense. Well, so a couple of strategies. So I want to share 3 strategies to have a successful Instagram type of experience and just, usage. So one of the things I always say when it comes to social media is do one thing really well. And then as you've got that kind of mastered and it's kind of, on a maintenance kind of thing where you just kind of post and for the most part you're pretty good to go, then you can start looking at adding another platform. What happens is a lot of people go out and they set up a bunch of accounts on all the different platforms. They go on LinkedIn and Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and then they don't do any of them really well. Mm-hmm. And that does nobody any good, right? And it's not going to reap you any rewards or any benefits for, being on that and then not working that. So what I say is just be on one thing and own that. So look at where your audience is. If you are, let's say you're a real estate agent and you really specialize in active adult communities, you're probably going to want to be on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you're really trying to get to the first-time home buyer, you might want to be on Instagram before you even go on Facebook. And so because a lot of the younger generation thinks Facebook is for their grandparents.
They totally do.
Yeah. So just be aware of that because, we see it differently. And so you need to be aware of that mindset. And so look at the demographics of the platform. You can always Google it. You can do some research and say, okay, but look, do not dismiss anything because pretty much all these platforms have amazing traffic and can generate all different kinds of, potential clients for you. As a real estate agent, you never know where you're going to find a buyer, seller, builder, or investor in real estate. And so I've got a builder that I follow on Instagram, and he's an older gentleman, but he totally gets Instagram. So he's on Facebook as well, but he's also on Instagram. So anyways, in fact, I see more of his posts on Instagram than I do Facebook, which I think is interesting. They do luxury home construction, and Instagram is a fabulous platform for that. So the first thing that I want to share with you when it comes to strategies for Instagram is hashtags. I meet a lot of people who do not understand what hashtags are for, how to use them, all of that kind of stuff. So the first thing to know is that Instagram allows hashtags. They allow up to 30 hashtags right now on any one post. So what you want to do is look at generating hashtag or having a group of hashtags, 30 hashtags, and I do recommend that you use all 30 that they allow you to use. And then I recommend that you sit down and you really give it some time and thought and attention to your strategy on the hashtags.
Okay, so let's say I'm a realtor and I put up a picture of a house that I'm trying to sell. How in the world am I going to come up with 30 hashtags?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. So I use a tool called Seek Metrics. It's plural. So Seek, S-E-E-K, and then Metrics, METRICS.com. And so what you can do, it's a website. You go to that website and you can put in some keywords like real estate, home for sale, those kinds of things. Luxury home, if it's a luxury home, maybe first-time home buyers, kind of play with some of the different words. And what it's going to do is you're going to put those keywords in, and then it's going to generate some different variations of hashtags potentially that you could use. And then you can go over to Instagram even and look and see, okay, if I were to use this hashtag, is this a hashtag that's trending? How many times has this, how many posts have used this hashtag? So a lot of times people think, and this is very interesting, a lot of times people think that they want to only use hashtags that have a lot of posts to them. But the thing is, if that's the case, let's say, you got millions and millions of posts that have used this hashtag, you got to keep in mind that that may push you down quicker as far as you may not get a lot of exposure. It may be kind of like a quick flash in the pan kind of exposure versus if you used a hashtag that maybe doesn't have as many posts. So here's what I recommend. When you remember what I said in the beginning, I said, sit down, look at the hashtags, come up with a strategy. Part of my strategy is a mixture of both hashtags that are very popular, have a lot of posts on them, all that kind of stuff, and then some that are not.
How about a hashtag that's real popular? Let's just, for the sake of the demonstration here, hashtag sweet tea. And that thing is just blowing up, and I'm like, it has nothing to do with my post, but I'm going to put it in just so people will see it.
Yeah, so that's how you make people mad.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
That's a great question. Now, I use I follow a hashtag, because not only can you use hashtags, but you can follow hashtags. So what that does is, as I follow a hashtag on Instagram, so mine is, I think it's Nashville TN. And so if somebody posts and puts that hashtag, then it, has a likelihood of showing up in my news feed. So because I'm following that. It's kind of like being friends or following a page or whatever. So when that hashtag gets used, those posts, so that's the whole point of why you want to use hashtags, because it can expose you to people that would never in a million years know about you or find you or hear about you a lot of times. Okay. And so that's the beauty of it. And so, but there's probably thousands of people that post every week with the Nashville TN hashtag that I don't see. I see some of them. I learn a lot of things about Nashville this way. I've been following that hashtag for probably close to a year now. But that's just an example to help you understand what's the purpose of a hashtag. The other thing, too, is people say, well, why would you recommend that I use all 30 hashtags? Okay, so the reason is because it's kind of like when I speak. So I just spoke, like I was sharing with you, at Greater Nashville Realtors annual convention. They had 350 seats in the room. Well, I'm going to teach the class, whether there's 50 people or 350, and in this case, there were 400. So they had to bring in more chairs. People were standing and sitting around the edge of the room, all that kind of stuff.
Hashtag more chairs.
That's right, yes. And so what happens is I'm still teaching, but it's about how many people do you want in the audience. And so, of course, you want, if you're going to put the time and effort into coming up with the content, taking the photos, cropping and editing and brightening and whatever else you're going to do, use a filter, whatever, and then you're going to do your hashtags. You want to make sure that you've got as many, bottoms in the seats, right? And so you want as many people to see your posts as possible. And the way that you're being able to do that and kind of work toward that is by using all of the 30 available hashtags. Why wouldn't you do that?
Now, you just think hashtags from now on, don't you? I can just tell.
Yes.
Hashtags, bottom in the seat.
Blah, 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 blah. And so, so the hashtags. So then when you come up with your 30 hashtags for certain kinds of posts, so I have different kinds of posts that I use different hashtags, groups of hashtags for, okay? So when I'm sharing on Instagram about my podcast, I have a certain group of hashtags that I use. When I use those, here's a little trick. Most people, 99.9% of people, are going to post on their Instagram account from their phone. Okay? So what you can do is go into your notes section on your phone and type up your hashtags one time. So all 30 hashtags, and save them, okay? And you can put, like for me, it says podcast hashtags, okay? And so you can save that note. When I go into Instagram, I go in and I say, yes, I'm going to add an Instagram post. Here's my images. This is what I'm posting. What the comment's going to be. When it comes time to put the hashtags in, I then just swipe out of Instagram, go over to my notes, and then I pull up those podcast hashtags that are already pre-done, copy those, swipe out of notes, go right into Instagram. It's going to take me right back to where I was, and I can paste in all 30 hashtags.
So you're doing the same 30 for any podcast post you do? Okay.
Yes. Because
I was thinking you'd have to come up with 30 every time. I'm like, man, that's a lot of work.
No, and that's part of my strategy is to continue, because remember, just because someone is posting into Nashville TN, the hashtag Nashville TN, they're using that hashtag, that doesn't mean they're showing up in my newsfeed, or I might miss them. Mm-hmm. And so it depends on when I've been on there. And so if there's been 20 more people that have used that hashtag, your post got buried, and I'm going to see some other Nashville TN hashtag posts, right? Okay. And so you're not going to always be seen by everybody that follows that hashtag. So that's the point, is 6 months of posting to those is what my plan is, right? And then in 6 months, I'll reevaluate, look and see if there's anything new that's trending or something I hadn't thought of for the podcast hashtags. And then just kind of reevaluate where I am and confirm that, okay, I don't want to tweak anything. Not that I'm going to change major changes to them, but some of them I might change a little bit or tweak. And so that's just a thought. But any type of post, if you've got luxury or first-time home buyers, maybe I have a client who she specializes in 2 different types of markets, and so she could have a group of hashtags for, let's say, first-time home buyers, and then maybe she's got one for her luxury listings. Those are some things for you to think about, okay? So we're talking about 3 strategies. We just dropped about 20 of them right there. So we're going to change the title of this one, Producer Jimmy, to just Instagram strategies. But the point is that you want to just master some of the basics with Instagram. Of course, I always say, too, one of the things is just, posting consistently, regularly. It's not going to work if you're not putting out new content and posting and interacting. So don't post and run is another tip. You want to post, and then you want to also interact with people and make sure that you're liking their comments, you're commenting back, you're replying to those comments, and interacting with them. So that's another strategy as well. And so you want to use your hashtags, and then also, by the way, hashtags, when you get exposed to all these different people by using these hashtags, it helps to increase your followers, because people will say, oh, I like this post. Let me go over to this person's page and their feed and look at everything. And so they start looking, they go, ooh, I like their content. I'm going to follow them. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I do. I'll see something that'll grab my attention, and I'll go, I want to see their page. And I'll go on there and look at all their feed and stuff and say, ooh, I want to see what else they're posting. And so I'll start following them. And that's how you increase followers. But like Jimmy said, another thing is make sure that you're using hashtags. Don't just use 30 random hashtags that are popular hashtags that have nothing to do with the content that you're putting out. Because first of all, people aren't going to follow you. You're only going to make people mad. And so, angry people aren't going to follow you. And so you're missing the whole point. That doesn't work. If somebody is in New Orleans and they've got a big sale going on and they're using hashtag Nashville TN, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be able to make it to your sale this weekend, because you're hundreds of miles away. Yeah. It doesn't work. And so it's just not going to work. You're doing nobody any favors. And so that's where you're just showing, the other thing, too, about hashtags is people who kind of make up all these long hashtags, like bad hair, don't care on a Saturday morning, and you're like, what? They totally are not getting the whole hashtag thing. So does nobody any good. I guess that's a joke. I don't know. But anyway, so we're talking about strategies to help you to have a successful Instagram strategy for your real estate business. I hope this has helped. And to get a free copy of my award-winning book, Selling Simplified, 55 Fast Tips to Jumpstart Your Real Estate Business, be sure to go to realestatecoachingsimplified.com. All you pay is the $4.95 for the shipping and the handling, and we'll send it right to you. I hope you have a great day. Hope this show helped, and we'll see you next time right here on The Power of Real Estate with Michelle Moore.
Realtors, if you're ready to jumpstart your business, Michelle has your realtor coaching covered at realestatecoachingsimplified.com. Everything from coaching online teachings to in-person programs. Join us next time for The Power of Real Estate with Michelle Moore.